It's Platt, and today we head to Oregon. That's next to Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have today comes to us from the fine folks at Rogue Brewing. We've reviewed one of their beer before. We tried their hazelnut brown nectar ale. I remember that being a pretty good beer. A little background into Rogue. Rogue was founded in 1988 in Ashland, Oregon. It was founded by three gentlemen that were former Nike executives. Jack Joyce, Bob Waddell, and Rob Strasser. Now, these gentlemen started off the pub with a 10-barrel system that was located in the basement. Up top was a 60-seat pub. Now, being Nike executives in Oregon in the late 80s, when the craft brewing scene was kind of new, they had a pretty good head start and they found immediate success, so much so that in the next year, 1989, they ended up opening a second location in Newport, Oregon. Now, with their background as executives in a big company like Nike, they naturally had kind of a different worldview on the brewing world than your average just home brewer that wanted to open their own brewery. Rogue is more than just a brewery. It is a kind of a full portfolio of different companies. There's Rogue Brewing, but then they also have Rogue Farms where they grow their own hops, their own barley, pumpkin, pepper, honey, all kinds of different spices. Any ingredients they need, they kind of keep that in-house. Also in-house is Rogue Rolling Thunder, or Rolling Thunder Barrel Works, I believe is the name of it. They have their own cooperage, which seems like kind of a luxury for a brewery, but if you're also a distillery like Rogue Distilling, having your own cooperage is kind of a bigger deal. Rogue Spirits produces whiskey, gin, vodka. They have a full line of spirits. Well, if you have a full line of spirits, then you can do things like Rogue canned cocktails, which they have a line of canned cocktails. They also own 9 different pubs. They have something that's kind of neat, something I'd like to check out one of these days. Instead of a bed and breakfast, it's called a bed and beer inn. There's all kinds of craft beer themed things to this inn. So Rogue is more than just a straight brewery, and that's probably, again, coming from the founder's background in the corporate world. They looked at things like vertical integration and what have you. Real quick, let's talk about some of their other beers. First is Dead Guy Ale, 6.9% ABV. This is a classic German Maibach. What's unique about this is apparently they have a proprietary in-house yeast strain that they refer to as Pac-Man yeast. So that sounds kind of a cool little story there, especially for you kids of the 80s. Next is a beer called Bat Squatch, 6.7% ABV. This is a hazy IPA. The backstory of this is kind of interesting. When I first saw the can and the logo, it's a creature that looks like half bat, half Sasquatch. I thought, well, that's kind of a cool little fun name. But come to find out, there apparently is such a creature that it supposedly lives around Mount St. Helens. I'm sure they probably talked about it on the Joe Rogan podcast or something. But that I did not know there was such a thing as Bat Squatch. So now I know. Next is Dreamland, a 4.8% ABV lager. This beer has a charitable aspect to it. Apparently the proceeds from this beer went to help remodel a local skate park. Supposedly this was called the Dreamland Skate Park back in the day, and they remodeled it for the kids because we're always doing stuff for kids. Lastly is Pineapple Party Punch. This is an 8.4% hazy IPA made with real pineapple and toasted coconut. Stylistically, this is similar to, we tried a beer a while back that was kind of a pina colada hazy IPA. This is in that same kind of vein, just a kind of a fun experimental type beer, something to definitely keep your eye out for. Well, before we try this particular beer though, let's check out the stats. So today I thought, since we're trying a chocolate beer, I'd talk about some other classic or highly revered chocolate beers out there. It's an ever-growing category, but these are some of the more well-esteemed beers. First is probably the most highly rated of these type of beers, and that is Founder's Kentucky Breakfast Stout. This is a barrel-aged beer, big, high ABV beer. Always up on the top of the list is all the beer review sites like Untapped, Beer Advocate, Rate Beer, what have you. Probably a beer I need to do a video on someday. Next is Samuel Smith Organic Chocolate Stout. This is a classic beer from a classic brewer. The fact that it's organic makes it unique. It was probably one of the first organic beers I ever tried. Again, just a classic beer from a classic brewery that's well executed. So if you like this style, give that particular beer a try. And lastly, from the fine folks at Odell Brewing in Colorado, is their Leucine Chocolate Milk Stout. This beer is a seasonal beer. It comes out each fall. It's made with real milk sugar. This beer stylistically is more in that kind of chocolate milk vein. A lot of people, when you talk about chocolate stouts, there's kind of two schools. There's those that want a little more bitter chocolate, a little more cacao, more of that kind of dark espresso notes. And then there's some people that are looking for more of a chocolate milk, the milk chocolate, a little softer, a little rounder, smoother mouthfeel. Again, when you add the powdered lactose in there, gives a different kind of mouthfeel to it. And the Leucine is more in that classic chocolate milk kind of vein. Well, enough about chocolate beers. Let's drink a chocolate beer. All right, boy, this pours nice and dark. Got a real dark khaki head, maybe about half a finger's worth. Let's give her a little nose. Oh yeah, the chocolate's right there. We're not messing around with any hops on the nose or anything. Let's give this a try. Ooh, wow, yeah, it's good. It's definitely intense. I get the double chocolate name now. This is kind of a sweet spot. This is it does not have necessarily the chocolate milk mouthfeel to it, but there's tons of chocolate there. I do get on the back end some little harsher, I don't harsh, maybe not the word, but a little more aggressive, darker chocolate notes, a little bit of that espresso on the back end. But if you get too much of that, you can get a little bitterness. And I'm not talking about a hop bitterness, I'm talking about the espresso bitterness from those beans. That is not what I'm getting here. You just get a little more darker chocolate notes, but not in that espresso vein necessarily. Body-wise, this is a medium plus. There's low viscosity to it, but it's still very drinkable, still approachable. This is a good wintertime beer. At 9% ABV, you notice it. It's on the edge of being a winter warmer. I definitely noticed it going down. This is not something you necessarily pound a lot of, but I definitely would have 2 or 3 of these, after dinner. Just a nice beer. Again, a little more intense on that chocolate flavor than a standard chocolate stout. But it's in kind of a nice sweet spot, or in the sense that it's chocolate, but not too aggressive on the dark chocolate end. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Until next time, bottoms up.